Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again for another episode of OC Spotlight. The one show, the only show that shows you the most incredible people doing the most amazing things right here in our community. And today, well, I always say we got one I've never heard of before. This is one I've never heard of before. We'll see what you guys think of it here. Welcome, if you will, Hayden Ruiz. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
So here's a young man who had all sorts of dreams to do exactly what we do, what they do all around me in this building here. We're at UCI's BEALL Applied Innovation Center. Tons of people trying to create med tech and medical devices and whatnot, some of which we tell the stories of some of these corporations and companies and not here. And you had a biomedical engineering degree from Boston University. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's there.
It's there.
It's not quite used too much anymore, but it's there.
So you go through this whole thing, good math, good science, and everything. Come back and try a few things, and said, "Man, I don't know. I was working for myself or working for a corporation may not be my future self here." And you start kicking around with your dad, who's been self-employed or run his own company, for a long time, a construction company?
Yeah, about 25 years is my
He's dreaming you're going to go off and be a professional and get with a big company, and you go get this big degree from prestigious. You come back, and you suddenly decide to change your mind. What? You decide, I got to go into business. So you start working for your dad. Maybe I've missed the opportunity to learn. Here's from a guy who's been running a business forever. Maybe I can learn from him. And out of that, spitballing ideas, you came up with one of the wildest things I've ever heard of. You guys bought some of these very high-end golf simulators. You set it up on a wall. I like to actually take a ball and I whack it and hit this screen we're going to talk about. That's what you create. You bought some of these and now you rent these out, right?
Yeah, I rent them out. I do kind of just branch into designing and installing into houses and
there's a cool thing. Yeah, all these people with these big houses in Newport Beach, why wouldn't they want to have a golf simulator in there?
Exactly. You see all these man caves, so I thought, hey, I might as well get a cut of that too and hop in that realm and just kind of keep branching out. I really just proof of concept, bought one, thought, hey, let's run it out, see how it goes.
So let's talk about these things. I think I've seen them. I've never actually played in one. Full disclosure, I'm lousy at golf. My late father was a fanatic about golf. I took a million lessons when I was a kid. Never hit with me. I guess whatever your dad does, like you in construction, he's done this, I'm going to do something else. So I never really took to golf, but all my friends and my son-in-law, everybody's nuts about golf. And yet, I grew up in the Midwest, Michigan, wearing my Michigan hats, freezing. Like in Boston, most of the year, you can only play golf for a couple months out of the year. Would this be bigger back there, or is this just as big out here to be able to play and to feel like you're playing with a simulator here?
Yeah, I'm one of few here. I know there's a couple other, I think, that have kind of started it. One went into the business, and I think he actually just closed up shop a little bit ago here, if I heard correctly. But yeah, no, on the East Coast, there's a few. There's a couple in Atlanta. There's one in Ohio, and that's who I actually got with. As a guy in Ohio is did a just proof of concept. I was like, hey guys, what's it cost to rent these things?
Right.
He gave me some ridiculous, $10,000 something number. I was like, all right, well you can.
No wonder there's no business for that. I'm not going to take that at a party or something.
So yeah, I was just like, it sounds like there's a gap here in where I live, and being in this area, especially Irvine, this place has so many different corporations. So a lot of people call Irvine and Southern California home. A lot of large companies that they do parties, they do different events.
3+ million people in this kind of 6th biggest county in America, right here.
Yeah.
All right, so. But you didn't get into this because you were a golf pro or you're a golf nut or whatever. You're just looking for an entrepreneurial thing, and somehow this came across your plate. Your dad and you were kicking around ideas kind of as a side gig. Maybe I'll test this out. Now this is turning into a full-time gig for you here. This Partee, P-A-R-T-E. It's a clever way to spell party, P-A-R-T-E, golf simulators. Tell me about this business. Do they just rent them out for birthday parties, or do they rent them out for big corporate events, or both?
It's been anywhere from my first one. It was the I think we're just chatting a little bit. My first one was a baby shower. Of all things.
And women at a baby shower, and they want to hit golf balls.
Yeah, well, they had, it was one of those kind of all inclusive baby showers. So the guys, girls, kids.
You got to do something with the guys. Yeah.
Everyone was there, and yeah, in fact, he caught a good one because the wife was the one who wanted it, was the one hitting most on it. She loves the game, so I was just ecstatic that you know, they were able to get me there, and that we were able to kind of show them a good time and have the group, you know.
And this is a big thing. So like in our studio here, it looks bigger than it is. It's probably, I don't know, 20 by 20 or something or whatever, 10 by 10, no more than 10 by 10, but it's somewhere, it's not huge. Always looks bigger on the camera here.
Yeah.
And like every radio station or every YouTube channel. Give me the size. How big is the screen? It's just literally a screen that you set up, and then I whack a ball for real into this thing, right?
Yeah. So you've probably seen a couple of there's one way to do it, which is there's a cheaper route, and you know, I kind of opted in for just getting a real simulator. It's one of the ones that you'd put in your house and build in your house. So it's sturdy, it's real solid. It's 12 by 12 about, or 8 by 12. I'm sorry, 12 wide, about 8-9 feet tall. And yeah, it's full blown simulator. You hit into a screen. The screen's got, you know, whatever course you want to choose on there. You could go into the range. You could do a whole bunch of stuff.
You can go from hole to hole, and somehow when you actually hit the ball, there's some little motion detector, or that as soon as the ball takes off, because the ball will actually fly and hit the screen, but that's not what's happening. It hits the screen, and then the simulator takes over, and you see yourself, the little ball virtually on the screen, traveling through the first hole or the fifth hole. Or
whatever it is. There's games. There's various things you can do with it. But yeah, they're called launch monitors. What actually reads it, and it's very cool. These devices. They're, you know, some are overhead, some are on the ground. The one I have is on the ground. I'm looking in the overhead ones right now, just for, you know, ease of use.
Motion detection. This is the key to everything. This is how they're creating virtual reality. Everything. They're literally. I come from the entertainment industry. That's how they're making movies like The Mandalorian, or TV shows like The Mandalorian. They put up a big LED screen, and that is a real video backdrop here. And then as you move, there's some motion detector that shows you move in front of the screen. The screen moves with you, and suddenly it all looks real.
Yeah, they're getting crazy with it now, and they're it's getting a little scary sometimes, because I've seen a couple things where they've actually cloned people's faces and voices and went on there, and it sounds extremely realistic. So they're getting really a little wild with this virtual reality.
So how realistic is this? Do you really feel like, I mean, I don't think it's quite at that level yet, or maybe it is, or maybe that's where it's going. Do I get to sort of imagine me doing this, and there's a sort of a graphic up on the screen, or does it realistically look like Pebble Beach or something?
Yeah, it's very good. So I honestly, I spent a good amount of money on it to make sure I got one of the nicer ones. So, you know, you can get some tough ones, but, you know, I got my projector, which is a high def projector, laser projector that's, you know, very, very strong. So it makes the picture, you know, it's like you're looking at an LED TV in a sense for a lot of them. And then for the outdoors, it's always tough doing that. So, you know, one of the more unique portions of mine is I'm able to do it outdoors in the daylight, sun, no sun, whatever it is. I have a setup that could actually be enclosed.
Because most LEDs, go take your cell phone out, go take your laptop out. It doesn't show real well, an LED screen, as soon as it's in the sunlight here.
Yeah, especially a projector. Obviously, projection gets a lot tougher in the light, because the light's got to travel a distance to get there.
Right.
So I've got a really, really strong one that works indoors and could work a little bit outdoors if it's in the right light. But then, you know, there's a whole group of people that do, you know, corporate events. They don't always have them inside. They have them outside in the parking lot, various things like that. So I built another one that is able to actually handle the light. So that's really, I keep that one as more busy than the other two that I have. The Premier one, which is my Premier one's the one that's kind of an indoor one.
Right.
It's you know, it's probably about maybe 40% of it, and then the other half is you know, 50% of the outdoor one, and then 10% is the smallest one.
So who's renting these? The craziest one was the first one, a bridal shower. What I think of is mostly women, although I guess they're all inclusive now these days. And so I guess I wouldn't think that would be something the girls would want to do, or the families or the people would want to do. But why not? Because they've done everything else. Is that part of it? This is just something nobody's ever done or seen before. And golf, everybody's golf crazy.
You know, they got everything for the kids. You got the bounce houses. You got all these little things that you can rent. And for the adults, there's nothing. And for me, there's nothing I want to do more at a party. If you're, you know, hanging out with your friends, having a beer, or what have you. The golf's getting so popular now that you'd have a hard time not finding a golfer. At any of these,
I think you would.
Any of these sort of events. So for me, it's something for the adults, right? I mean, we do have kids, and we have a lot of different.
My son-in-law, who manages a bank, would go nuts over it. He's picked up the game at 30 or something here. And now all of a sudden he thinks this is the coolest thing. He's addicted to it. He and his buddies and his friends and his clients and everything here. I mean, there is just a passion for this game that won't go away. But again, you can't always go out and play. It isn't always cheap or available to play. And if you could do this somehow at home or practice at home or feel like you're getting some of the experience at home, or better yet at a party with a beer in your hand and, hey, let's go. Let me see if I can drive this ball and see how far you can drive it and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, and then especially that's why I kind of dove into the building them, designing them, because as you go, obviously you get some contacts and you're able to get things a little cheaper, source different materials cheaper, and build.
Are you
build
tweaking
them.
this? Are you using your kind of scientific background here to maybe I'm going to do more than just buy these pre-built things and rent them out, drive them out, set them up? Maybe I'll tweak them. Maybe I'll do other things, or maybe even I'll install them.
Right. Exactly. So that's kind of. You get a little creative with things, and when you go to school for engineering, most of the time they're teaching you it's just how to be a problem solver.
Right.
So you find I kind of get the basic structures down, and then I tweak them as need be. Number one, to make them portable, which is always difficult when you have an at-home setup that's supposed to stay in one spot. Getting that torn down in a timely manner and getting it up somewhere else, always something a little challenging about that. So I was able to get it done for the rentals. Now I really want to be a little more creative and a little more.
I picture these multi-million-dollar homes up and down the coast here. The Newport Beach kind of crowd, and these people have everything: the wine cellar, the giant, what would you call it, movie theater in their house, the special kitchens,
get a bowling alley,
stuff. All my stuff. I never think of any. We used to do a show here. A guy who built high-end spec homes at places like Crystal Cove and Emerald. What do they call it? Emerald Cove and all these places, the super expensive places in Irvine and whatnot, Newport Beach rather. He would buy a house, he would fix it up and then try and flip it. It was a kind of flipping or a super high-end stuff.
Yeah.
And so he would bring in continually week after week. I said, what do these people want? If I had a $50 million home on the coast, what is it I'm looking for?
Guess what don't you want, honestly, is just how much you can fit in one space is really where they're kind of constrained at. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is there's things I couldn't even imagine that existed. For example, he was saying many of these homes now have two kitchens. There's the show kitchen where you come and you hang out and pretend like you're cooking.
Yeah.
And then there is the work kitchen, the dirty kitchen.
You got the chef's kitchen in the back kind of a deal.
Where they're slopping over stuff and everything here. So there's kind of the fun kitchen and the cool kitchen. Certainly wine cellars and other things.
Yeah.
Things that automated blinds that go up and down and stuff, and all this home automation stuff that's taking over everything here. Certainly movie theaters and everything. I never heard anybody though say, I'm going to build a golf simulator in one of these rooms. Why not?
Yeah, no, the man cave, you'll probably see it all over Instagram now. Everyone's posting these, obviously they call them man caves, but it's just these massive sheds or what have you.
I got a little man cave at my house here, and it's a bunch of junk we go hang out in, and there's a bunch of TV, and there's a pool table or whatever,
Right, so why not a golf simulator,
Why not?
Yeah, so that's where I'm kind of heading there, and now is doing the rentals, expanding that, getting more simulators, more different types of simulators.
And people exposed to it. Oh, there is something, and this is pretty cool, and I liked it. Now I want one.
Right, and then even now I'm going to start branching out into, after I get a couple more models, kind of a rent before you buy type of a model there. So I right now I have one setup that I got where I could do it portably. I could go set up at your house, show you how to run it, and you could sit there, play with it for a week, 2 weeks, a month, kind of a deal, and get a feel for it, because obviously some of these setups could go 20, 30, 40 grand.
I was going to say, give me a ballpark of what it costs if I want to build a really good one. I don't want this to look cheesy and dumb. I don't want it to look like what was the thing they had years ago, the Wii or something? My dog.
Oh yeah, the Wii Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
No, yeah, that
was pretty. Weak.
It's kind of like anything. I've been. You can go as bare bones and get something for 20, 30 grand and get that set up in your house and have fun with it. But then you can also go. I was down in Palm Springs and they just got one installed. Two of them installed in their clubhouse there. They said it was I think it was $1 million between the two that they spent on that. But again, it's the whole. It's not just the software and all that, but it's the decor, right? You got to make it look nice. It's a clubhouse.
Atmosphere,
you want it to look classy, so they do a lot of different stuff with it to make it.
Well, we should talk. I inherited my late father's house out in Palm Springs on one of those golf courses. I rented out, and I know how expensive and elaborate these golf courses are and these homes are. I mean, ours isn't that high end, but there are many around that are like that. Up to the ones where the people like Bill Gates lives and hangs out. I mean, there are compounds and collections of billionaires out there and multimillionaires and people who just love the desert and the weather and that whole lifestyle of golfing out there. So yeah, I could see that being huge out there. Because again, it's something you could do. I could use it to practice. I could use it for fun as a party thing for my friends that come over here. And if I'm a golf course, because I've seen, don't some golf shops, big fancy golf shops, they've had something like this where they'll sort of go out and check your swing and they'll show you what you're doing wrong and you get some feedback. You kind of get some sense what the ball's doing.
Yeah, you do club fittings is what they're called. Yeah, it says every time you go to like Roger Dunn.
Roger Dunn.
Yeah, you'll go in there and they have simulators there just mainly to do club fittings. You could practice, see which one you like to hit with, which one's going straight is usually the one you choose. it's probably your best option. But
this is beyond that. This is more than that. I can actually run a course. I can actually buy programs and feel like I'm in Pebble Beach or some other course. I always wanted to play Inverness or something. My dad always did in Scotland.
Right. If you don't have the couple grand to get up to Pebble Beach or upwards of that for Scotland, yeah, you can hit on these right up for whatever party and event you have, and yeah, you could. Right. You could do that, and it's real nice that way. It's a lot easier. Number one, you're not waiting on people in front of you all
Who sells
the
all the software? Do you buy that? Because what's the other big golf course in San Diego that everybody always wants to? Torrey Pines.
Torrey Pines. Yeah, I used to play there a lot when I was living down there. It's a great golf course.
Right.
But yeah, so
I can't afford it. I don't go there. I don't play golf that well or that much and everything here. But I know friends that would pay anything to go play some of these courses if you could even get on them.
Funny enough, that course is public, which is great, right? So you can, if you're a San Diego resident, which is you just basically have to prove that you're from San Diego. You got whatever pay stub, your address, anything of that sort, and then you get a kind of a player's card, so you can go in there. And I believe you can play around for $150, $160.
What's the big fancy one here in Newport Beach that everybody wants to get into here?
Pelican Hill is one of them. Pelican Hill, right. Monarchs there as well, which is both of them are great courses. But yeah, you're spending $400 for a round, right? So it's
if you can get on, it's not open to the public.
Yeah, that's some of them. I think Monarch you can get on. There's one right here. It's actually, I think it's the one you're talking about is the Newport Beach Country Club, and that one is I've actually never even been on there. I had one event that was actually in that clubhouse there, and that's as close as I've gotten to that course.
And all these other ones, Coda de Casa.
Yeah, Coda's amazing. I thankfully I have a buddy there who's him and his dad have been taking me and him since maybe 14, 15 years old. So we've been blessed to do it.
Everybody who's listening knows what I'm talking about. These are courses you drool about, you dream about. Maybe this is as close as you get to playing it, or maybe it remembers I did play it. Now I'm going to go play it again, and I'm going to bring my buddies who couldn't go play this, and we're going to have it becomes a bonding man cave cool party kind of thing that you do here with everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all fun, and everyone who golfs, it's maybe you're not too good. Maybe you're great. It doesn't really matter. You're having a great time with everybody, and especially at these events and such.
Can you tweak it? Can I lie to it? Can I adjust it so that when I hit it, it looks a little better or something?
It's real tough to beat these things. It's crazy how they work. It's the first, I want to say few inches, I think it is, that it reads, and it reads the spin and the trajectory of it off of the mat, and really from there it's
the spin. Listen to what he's saying, folks. There's something that's catching. You're really teeing up a ball, and you're really hitting it in an inside room. Now, there's something that catches it, this screen or something that catches the ball, so it doesn't go whacking and bouncing around the room here.
Yep.
But you're hitting this ball for real, and there's a sensor, or a series of sensors, it probably sounds like, that within seconds picks up the trajectory of the ball, the spin of the ball, and then projects that onto a screen. Oh, you sliced it. Oh, no, you shanked it.
Hopefully it's straight down the middle.
Yeah, well,
you kind of pray for those. But yeah, it's kind of wild, the technology that's been there. And frankly, I don't dive too much into the technology. I just use it and try to get other people to enjoy their events and their parties.
Will
with
this
it,
be someday? I grew up as a Star Trek fan. The holodeck, this idea that everybody's going to have this giant room that you can do anything. It's so realistic. It looks real. It feels real. It sounds real. Smells real.
They're starting on that. You know, they have those Oculus deals, right?
Oculus
they put on your face. Yes. Yeah. So they have that now, where you can go out there and you know, you could putt, and it kind of shows you what's going to happen in front of you. You can go in and you can do full swings. I'm blanking on the software, what it was called, but they do have that now. I've never tried it, so I don't know how
Oculus Rift, and then the new Apple version of the same thing that they just came out with. It's $3 or $4 to get this even specialized thing.
Yeah, I thought they bought Oculus. Is what
Facebook bought Oculus.
Yeah, they bought them, and then they did what Facebook does, and they blew it up tenfold. Is kind of how they operate.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it's all great, and it's starting to just get more and more.
So this is the end game. Come on, tell us the truth. You're going to build this up, and then Facebook or Apple's going to buy you out, and you're going to be the next billionaire kid that we talk about here who started this crazy thing. Well, it is a wild idea, not necessarily a cheap idea. Would give me some ballpark of what it costs to rent these things.
So yeah, the corporate events, everyone really likes the higher end one. At the corporate events, they want it to look
more realistic,
look more realistic, look very nice. You know, I have a smaller one that I did, which is more of a net and TV, which doesn't really seem to interest folks on that end. But you know, on the smaller party,
that's the birthday party one here,
right? On the smaller parties and things like that, they don't really go for the large, we call it our premier setup. They go for the outdoor one, usually because it's during the day, or they go for the net and TV.
Okay, give me all the build up now. Give me the price here. Give me some ballpark.
So I was able to drop the net setup our kind of the not really lower end, but just the smaller setup is around six to 900, to 1,000.
And this is what, for a day, or for a morning, for an
this
afternoon?
Is for 3-4 hours is typically our event lengths.
Okay.
That's
so it's not necessarily cheap, but it's affordable. You could, if you for a big party, you could spend $1,000 or $500 or something. Now the big one, the corporations, they want to impress their salespeople, their CEOs, their executives, their corporate partners, and all that kind of stuff. So what do they spend for one of these things?
That's anywhere from $1,300 to upwards of $2,500, depending on how long they want to go, how intricate the setup is. And
I would think they would eat that up.
As well.
All these giant companies that are all over Orange County here, the Broadcoms and all the stuff. What's the big medical device maker next door here? Medtronics and stuff here.
Medtronic. We had Genevalve was another one. I believe they're a heart valve company that we did a little bit ago. We did Navita Semiconductors was another company we worked with.
NVIDIA. You got to say NVIDIA. Yeah, that's right. NVIDIA that makes the chips.
No, it was
not the chip. Okay.
It's the chips, but it's a different company that does it. That's all. Yeah, okay. It's Novita Semiconductors, and so they make their chips.
Guys
and NVIDIA is the processors.
In our building here, everybody's celebrating one of these little startups. Just got $200 million to fund some new kind of silicon-based battery, not a lithium-based battery. And $200 million. This is just their first go at it. This will be $1 billion plus company soon. We've had a number of those graduate from this incubator, and those people. This is what you say, $1,000 to celebrate, or $1,500, or $2,000 or something. Oh,
200 short of 200 million. That's definitely less than that. That
sounds rather affordable.
Well, it's kind of awesome. You guys are being able to do that stuff around here too. I mean,
tons of stuff.
$200 million is.
It doesn't get a lot of play, but there's a number of those startups in this building and around this building like that. Mostly med tech and medical devices. I just happen to know the story of that one. And so go listen to OC Talk Radio, and we talk about some of these stories sometimes. Well, anyway, I'm telling you, this is going to be big. If it's not how long you been doing it? A year or so?
You're in some change. It took a little bit to get going and start up. Toy with it and get it to.
Hardest part's setting it up, right? You got to transport it and set it up. These things they're not really designed to be moved. I don't think very easily.
Not at all, no. And so I have a one guy who helps me when I need it, but most of the time it's me and him just kind of working it out who's gonna do it when. And he's been,
because you got to set up the screens, you got to calibrate this thing so it picks up the when you swing and hit the ball, the little motion sensors and stuff here. It seemed like there's an even. I get the rental business, and I see why that'll work, and you'll have fun, you'll make money, but it seems like down the road, getting people to put these in their house, $50 million houses, that seems like a cool thing that would. Yeah, it's huge marketplace.
It's kind of the way to go, and it's like anything, they want it to be done without them having to put any energy in it. They want to tell you what they want, and they want you to build that and be happy with it.
And then do you trying to build an atmosphere in the room too? I mean, is there a decorated?
Yeah,
it's not a bare room that just has a screen in it or something.
Right. So you have all the setup. I don't do I'm not putting up pictures for them and such, but
bar and everything.
Yeah, nothing along those lines quite yet, but more on the actual simulator side of things, and getting the turf in there, getting the actual
you gotta have
frame. Yeah, getting the turf, getting the frame for it, setting up a projector, setting up the launch monitor, all that good stuff. And the
launch monitor.
Yeah, the big thing is getting them for a good price, because right now it's the market's getting a little crazy. There's every other day I see another simulator company coming out there, and some are they're really not the best. So kind of getting through all the all the noises.
Wants to do cheap person, and these simulators are notorious for breaking and not working and all sorts of other stuff. But the technology is so rapidly changing.
Yep.
In this building alone, there's a lot of work on artificial intelligence and not a lot of video motion graphics, but a couple of companies fooling with stuff here I know of, and it's mind-boggling. That's what they're going to be able to do, what they're already doing. I was saying to you, I came from Hollywood. I have some friends that are still DPs up there, director of photography and stuff,
right.
And that whole world's being changed by shows like The Mandalorian, that they shot it in a volume, a round room with a round screen. And the screen is actually projecting in real time. The actors can see it, the cameras can see it. They're filming it in camera, not the old-fashioned green screen. You pretend you see it, and later on they layer it all over there.
Yeah, they're trying to. What were they trying to do? They're trying to purchase the actor's likeness, right, and then just not even have an actor there. Is another thing
one of the controversies.
They were starting
exactly.
Which I mean, yeah, like everyone seems to be doing it. You're just replacing humans with these,
So these artificial environments are getting realer and realer and really expensive and really sophisticated, and a lot of them are using gaming technology, this Unreal Engine that allows you to, just like in a video game. Look how realistic video games have gotten.
They're. I don't know if you play any of those, Call of Duty and things like that, but you're like watching a movie most of the time when you're playing.
I don't, but we did a show on esports. UCI happens to be one of the leaders in esports, one of the first universities to offer full scholarships to an esports firm, because we don't have a football team, we don't have a basketball. I guess we have a basketball team, but we don't have big players sports. So
right.
They think esports will be the sport that your generation will come out and turn for, and the alumni will show up and donate money.
It's already there. I mean, you got plenty of people making good YouTube money and posting themselves while they're playing these games. The streamers and such. They got Twitch and all these new platforms.
There's a Twitch center not far from here over in Irvine, where I don't think the public knows it, but they do the stuff from there.
Yep.
Clearly, Blizzard and all these giant gaming companies. Orange County is a hotbed, a centerpiece for gaming and gaming technology. This is an outgrowth of that, I would think.
And then I did an event over at that exact location there, out in front of Twitch and a couple other ones.
Yeah, over in Irvine.
Yep. They got that. They're always building something over in Irvine. It's always something bigger.
Off of Sand Canyon. I'm supposed to tell where it's at, but that's as close as I'll tell you where it is. I don't know if it's open to the public, but it's off Sand Canyon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you are here in. Are you in Irvine?
Yeah, so I go anywhere. Like I said, I've been down to San Diego for it. I've been all the way up to Camarillo and past it, and then if it gets anywhere outside of that, we're just starting to advertise and get ourselves into Las Vegas is another one too.
Oh, that would be huge.
So yeah, that's.
Well, you got to go out to Palm Springs and all that stuff, because they're so golf crazy. The whole town has got millions of golf courses.
Yeah, they've got some couple hundred with golf courses within like a 50-mile radius.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous
Golf
like
Central.
that. Which
yeah.
I'm not complaining. I love Palm Springs. It's a great place.
That whole
to be.
Coachella Valley and everything.
Yeah. You can play 2-3 rounds in a day if you get out early enough.
All right. So how do they find you? Give us a website. Give us places to go.
Yeah, I mean typical areas. We have a website. That's where you're gonna get all your information. I have pictures up there. We actually I believe it should be live today. I haven't checked on it, but I got a website designer that's changing it around, giving a new look to it, because I did it myself the first time.
And you got to put some videos.
I'm not a real website designer.
Well, sure. You're just trying to see if that started kind of as an experiment. You have this biomedical engineering degree. You're still developing other business, you're saying, on the side, software and stuff and everything here. And this was kind of like, this will be a little side gig, a little fun gig. And this is turning into be a much bigger potential gig than I think you imagined it to be.
Yeah, I bought the initial one with just let's see how it goes, right?
Would anybody buy it? Would it work?
Yeah, and it did. I paid it off in the first, whatever 6 months or 7 months or so, and then everything after that's just now I'm building a business.
What are we doing wrong, folks? These young guys like this, seeing these opportunities, grabbing them here. This kid's going to be rich off of this thing. I'm telling you.
Yeah, if at the very least, I'll have a fun business that I can learn a lot from, and so that's what it is now. Is I work with my dad's great. One thing, seeing the end of, not really end of it, but the finished product in a sense, where you have a large company that you're doing a lot of business with. Many people.
And that construction background probably helps you because it teaches you if you're going to install these things. Now you got all the engineering issues and the architectural issues and the electrical issues and all the other stuff that you got to do to installing anything.
Yeah, and so being there is great, and I'm learning a ton every day. But you can't really get away from all you'll learn by starting with really nothing and building up from there. So there's lots of lessons to be learned with
young guys. That's what you're gonna do. We dreamed of joining General Motors. You dream of being General Motors here.
Yeah, I think you're saying sell to Facebook, and I'm not a big sell to somebody kind of thing. I'd like to build.
Oh, sure. When they come around 5 years from now, you're going to be back here. We're going to be reading about 200 million for this company here.
I might give up a little piece. Jeff Bezos gave up a piece. Maybe I'll give up a little piece. I don't think I'm doing the whole deal.
You're not bailing on the whole thing. All right.
No, I'd like to be the ones buying people. That's the goal. And
we're laughing, but I'm telling you, more and more simulators, more and more things. Golf's a great place. You could see tennis simulators. You could see all sorts of simulators. You could see all sorts of driving simulators, gaming simulators. Imagine what you're seeing in a game and putting that even on a bigger surround screen or bigger LED platform, so that it's not just you're playing in a monitor, you're playing in the space.
That's what I'm kind of looking into actually. Is as I said, I was trying to get into the Vegas realm, and you don't really get into Vegas with just something small. So for me, and now I'm trying to work on a larger. They have the big rounded, like the real rounded screens that kind of cover you on each side.
Like they're shooting movies in and stuff.
Exactly.
They call them volumes. These surround spaces, and it becomes realistic. Like whether you have to wear goggles, they're trying to get away from wearing goggles. They're trying to make it the room itself is real enough that you buy it, and then all this motion tracking stuff allows you to do something: drive, dribble, hit a ball, do something.
I don't know if you've watched how they make the movies, but those guys walk around with the little balls all over them, and the black suits with the little balls all over them, and then they're doing their thing, and then cut scene, you go over to them in the movie, and it's they're a pterodactyl or whatever exactly. They're trying to do with it.
All that. Well, go watch the making of The Mandalorian. That's been the most mind-boggling piece, that streaming series, because they did a lot of that stuff in camera rather than in post-production later. They built LED walls that became the sets and were so realistic the camera filmed it as if it was realistic. Wow. And then they moved in relation. So as they still had little balls on, but as they moved, the giant walls moved. So it's like you're really walking down a street or walking over a hill or something.
Very interesting. I gotta watch. Is that what's a Netflix thing, or where's that?
You can go look. Just go on YouTube. There's millions, but there's some very sophisticated ones. I watched one for American Cinematography magazine. They were talking about in great detail the depth and breadth of these things. They're calling them volumes, and there's a couple of giant ones they built up in Hollywood, and they're shooting tons and tons of movies, largely based off of that experience and some other ones that came before, the Jungle Book and some of the movies.
Interesting. Yeah, the Jungle Book, that was I like the Jungle Cruise. That one's good. You got the Rock in that one.
That's how Jon Favreau, the director he was the director of lots of these, but he was director of Jungle Book by Disney, and then that's how he got hired to do the Mandalorian series, because he had that experience in this 3D world. Fascinating stuff. You're going to be, while they're making movies of it, you're going to be making it in a house, or I'm going to be making it at a party, and we're all going to come and say, why didn't we think of this? All right, give us the company again. Partee, P-A-R-T-E-E?
Yep, correct. Partee Golf Simulators, and we do, rentals, design, installation, really anything. If you got, any questions,
but all
things
golf,
like that.
Golf simulators, right?
All golf simulators. I do have some other games on there that are available, but I don't really, I've been sticking with the golf.
Stick with what you know right now.
Exactly. It's kind of where I like to be, and me personally, I'm a golfer too, so it's always fun.
I got that loud and clear. All right, so come back, would you, in a couple of years and tell us how this is going?
Yeah.
And bring your limo over and and tell us the success you've had. Much success to you. Great idea. Heck of a thing. And something I would think, I'll probably call you and rent one of these things one time for some big party, because I know how crazy everybody I know is about golf. What a cool thing to have at your house. I don't know if I'll ever install one, but I would consider renting one.
Well, you'll know where to go, and you have my information. So anything you need, we can make it happen.
All right. Partee, Partee, Tee, Partee Golf Simulators right here in Orange County. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Hayden Ruiz.
Awesome.
Well, there you have it. If that didn't perk your interest to learn more, I don't know what will. Amazing people doing incredible things right here in our own backyard. As we present each and every time on our OC Spotlight segments, streaming live from our studio here at the University of California, Irvine's BEALL Applied Innovation Center.